Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of BNA Sports Talk. And today, before we get into it, I need to shout out my BNA Sports Instagram. I don't post like boring content there, like, oh, I'm posting this, I'm posting that. I ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, for lunch. I don't know, but I post some interesting Giants facts, some graphics from my YouTube channel, maybe getting a little more into it, and we have some conversations there. And I also do a game called Guess the Giants, where basically I give 3 clues from a Giants, either alumni or a current player, and you guys have to guess who it is. So let's do a little bit of a game now before we get into today's video. So clue number 1 of 3. I'm a former first-round pick. I earned a 77.6 PFF grade in 2018. We all know we love PFF. And then the third clue is I only have 1 career sack with 213 career tackles. So if you think you know who that is, comment in the comment section or follow me on BNA Sports Instagram and comment there. So let's get into today's video because Patrick Mahomes basically signed a huge contract and there's a lot of, commotion and stuff like that. Everyone thinks it's a good deal. That's a consensus. Me personally, I'm like, well, Patrick Mahomes just needs to basically work on, just not getting bored. I mean, sometimes he gets lazy with throws and he's inaccurate like that. So, and sometimes he tries to be hero ball, but the Chiefs just let Patrick Mahomes be Patrick Mahomes at this point. He just dial up the little things with the mechanics, and I think this contract is really going to set him up for the future and, make him work harder if he wasn't motivated enough, by winning Super Bowls. But let's get into the actual contract details because there's a lot of confusion with that. Basically, his cap number this year is like $5 million, but the Chiefs are paying him a lot of money up front right now as like a signing bonus because, thank you for signing with the Chiefs, because it'd be really awkward in 2 years if it's like, oh, yeah, now you get your signing bonus when the actual contract kicks in. So right now, it's $60 million dead cap hit, or $65 million. And basically what you're looking at is the breakdown of his contract, but you may see a lot of zeros, like they can cut him for $0. No, basically, if he starts in 2021, if he's on the roster on the 3rd day of training camp, the 2023 season becomes fully guaranteed. And that basically keeps on going down until 2029 or whatever. So basically, Patrick Mahomes is going to be a Chief for a while. If he doesn't get injured, I think it's like $140 million guaranteed overall. I really do a lot of research in that department. But it does get a little bit interesting towards 2026. He's only like a $44 million cap hit, or 2028 he's only a $44 million cap hit. So that's a little bit interesting there. I don't know what exactly that is. I think that's like a midway through the contract, something like that. I don't really want to get into that. But basically, is this going to be a sign of things to come? No. You take a look at Lamar Jackson. I'm not too sure if he's going to be sustainable in the league. Then you take a look at Deshaun Watson. Is he going to get injured again? I don't know. Patrick Mahomes is dealing with injuries. I think this is the exception to the rule, but it's a very interesting way to not pay a quarterback a lot of money. You gotta love your quarterback, and that's what the Kansas City Chiefs did. They locked him up. They're showing that they trust him, and that's going to be a valuable thing moving forward. We're going to see a lot of franchises, and this is going to show a signal, like quarterbacks with the Chicago Bears. Do you trust the guy or do you not? The Chiefs obviously trust in Patrick Mahomes. A little bit of an injury scare, but overall, this is a decent contract. And some of his extensions, just talking about the rest of the contract, you may have heard $503 million. That's basically the next 2 years. It's $33 million or something like that, $27 or $28 million. And then he has $25 million worth of incentives. If he wins the AFC title game and makes the Super Bowl, it's $1.25 million. And if he wins the MVP, it's another $1.25 million. So unless he wins the MVP of the 10 years, he's has a contract, but I wouldn't doubt. Actually, no, I am doubting that. He won't make the full, $475 million that's actually on the contract. But let's get into today's video. I think that PFF did a decent job breaking down the Giants' offensive line. Obviously, they made an hour-and-a-half podcast. You can talk about the Giants' offensive line for 2 hours, but they had to get through all 32 teams. They ranked the Giants' offensive line at number 32. Number 20. Imagine number 32. PFF ranked the Giants number 17 last year, which I think was more towards 23, 24. But they made a good point saying, the Giants didn't have that better of an offensive line. And let's play this clip by PFF and basically get the summary of what they were saying.
Nate Solder at left tackle was not great. Mike Remmers was on the other side, also not great. They had the most pressures allowed among any tandem. I think the Giants fans think they had the worst offensive line in the NFL.
Right.
Last year, they were 17th in our regular season rankings. They were almost right in the middle of the pack. Daniel Jones held the ball a little bit too long. A lot of those sacks and fumbles were on him. Right tackle is going to be Andrew Thomas, the number 4 overall pick. Who knows what you get from a rookie offensive tackle, but he's very good. I think he'll be very good at some point down the road. Will Hernandez was outstanding in college, has gotten off to a slow start, but he's one of those year 3 guys. And you have Kevin Zeitler at right guard. There is a scenario where 4/5 of their offensive line comes together and becomes at least average or better. Still a question mark at center with Spencer Pulley, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants are one of those teams that could actually land in the top 10, which I think sounds crazy. Don't be surprised if the Giants take a step forward. Depends on a lot. It depends on the tackles, really. If Solder at left tackle gets a little bit better than he was, and he was better in 2018. And then the other New York team, the Jets, they were 28th last year. We have them at 27th. I don't even know that they improved.
Yeah, again, I agree with the majority of points what they're saying. For rarity, they loved Andrew Thomas coming out of the draft, to which I'm surprised they're only ranking them 20. They have Andrew Thomas listed at right tackle. I think he's going to be left tackle because Nate Solder got beaten by the elite guys, sometimes not too elite. I remember he got beaten by one of Miami Dolphins players. It's like, what are you doing? But, the elite guys, Nate Solder couldn't keep up with. Andrew Thomas, you show in the top talent with the SEC, the NFL guys, he was able to keep up with their speed. He was able to kind of manage when they were beating him on the outside. Not the quickest feet, but he's going to be dominant in the run game. I think the weak point in our offensive line was a miscommunication between center and guard, which blew up a lot of plays, and then the outside with the tackles. And now we actually have depth. We have Cam Fleming, who went out and said, our offensive line coach, Mark Colombo, brings this just veracity and tenacity. I don't know why those two words had a rhyme, but, he brought this willingness to play and just beat guys down. And that's what the Giants, need a little bit more. And that, I guess, comes a little bit with winning. When you're winning, it's just like you're just throwing guys around and stuff like that. You're having a good time. And you get bringing guys like Shane Lemieux, who generally love pushing guys around. I think he's going to challenge Will Hernandez at the left guard spot. I think Will Hernandez was a weak point in our offensive line last year. He was just getting pushed around. He was getting fooled. It wasn't that good. I'm doing some film with the centers, and I'm just like, Will Hernandez was giving up a lot of those pressures, and it wasn't really the center's fault in a lot of those situations. As far as what Mark Colombo brings technically, Cam Fleming also went out and said, he taught me how to play, and that's what Andrew Thomas really needs. He has all the skills. He has most of the athleticism. Needs to get a little bit quicker feet, I guess. But, with Georgia, they taught him kind of the wrong ways to pass block. They had his hands more towards the outside. Different little things like that Mark Colombo is going to teach these guys. And Joe Judge brought in his disciples. He brought in a guys that he knows will be able to coach the positions well, which is going to be a major difference. No longer are we going to have pressure from the outside. Throughout the middle, we don't have the greatest depth. You can say Nick Gates is going to be guard. I don't really love him at guard. We can potentially be top 10. It depends how Andrew Thomas works out. And he has a gauntlet in his first couple of games. I think that PFF rated the offensive line fairly. You have to be a little bit wary of the Giants. But, let's just go out and play. Let's mean streak. Let's beat guys. Let's beat guys down. We play some great pass rushes. And, Kevin Zeitler, he's going to bring some leadership into this team, too. Overall, I'm taking a look at the Giants' offensive line. I'm like, why can't we be top 10? We've improved in every single spot. We've done a better job than teams like the Jets, teams like the Cardinals in addressing this position. Now, there are always obviously going to be injuries, but I think if one guy goes down, even if it's a Nate Solder, that we'll be fine there. And the Giants' offensive line, I've made discussions about it, like where do we rank? I think we're a top half offensive line right now. Take a look at the NFC East. Again, I made a video about it. I'm like the Eagles. You trust Andre Dillard? I think Andrew Thomas is better than Andre Dillard. Brandon Brooks, he's injured, so I think we're almost better in the interior. Obviously, Jason Kelsey is solid. But, you take a look at the Giants, I'm like, we're not that bad. And obviously, the Eagles also lost to Jason Peters. Take a look at the Cowboys. Lyle Collins, Tyron Smith, they're not getting any younger. They lost their center, and they're going to have to rely on Joe Looney, who Zach Martin really had to, overcompensate for that. Is that going to be a huge problem going down the stretch? Take a look at the Redskins. All they have is really Brandon Sheriff. Donald Penn is out. I know that they like this guy, Wes Martin. They drafted some guys in the first round, but I think that the Giants, we may have the best offensive line in this division by year's end based on the improvements of everybody. Now that we have actually a good offensive line coach who, by the way, we stole from the Dallas Cowboys. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think. How good can the Giants offensive line be? Do you agree? Disagree with PFF? And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.